Hello, Internet. I'm Joe.
I'm Eric.
And I'm doing a sexy butt pose!
Oh, gross. Stop it. That offends me, Ike. You and your butt
I'm
poses.
offended that you're offended that I'm doing it.
All right, that's it. We're putting all butt poses on. Instead of faces, it's just going to be butt poses. Welcome to the Just Cool Enough Show! Yay!
What are you, a Muppet now? Welcome to the Muppet Show!
Bum, 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 bum.
It's time to...
I'm in a musical mood today.
The Muppet Show tonight.
Just Cool Enough Show tonight. So, it has been a week since we talked last, right? As per usual.
Pretty much.
A lot of things happened. Lots of things in my life, and I would like to talk about some of those. That's why we're doing this.
Just Joe enough, so shut up and let's move on to the news.
In the news. So,
The Germans have advanced through Poland.
not again.
Eisenhower's ready to commit, but FDR says it's not our war.
Wow, that was really good. We should do a 20s style podcast. So this week has been a crazy week for me. Maybe once I get some details, then I can talk about things more. But things are going crazy for me right now. Thanks for all your help, Eric. This is terrible stuff.
And I know you don't want to talk about the things, but have you heard back? Like, is it working well for you?
From what I hear, things are working well for me.
Okay, good.
I love podcasts where the inside stuff's so inside that nobody's going to get it except for the people
so
involved.
Joe freelance contracted me to do some photoshopping for him, and it was funny because like he calls me, he's like, "Would you know a guy that could do this thing?" Which I know he's saying is what he meant to say. He's like, "Could you do this thing?" But he didn't want to straight up ask me. I was like, "Well, I mean, I could probably do that thing." He said, "No, I was hoping you would say that."
Eric, you can what?
No, he wasn't. He was like, "That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Do this for me, please." And then, like, I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then he was kind enough to pay me, so I didn't complain too much. So he
Nobody
paid.
ever pays me in gum.
I know. But yeah, it was funny. It was just it was funny though because it was like when it rains it pours because I was my friend Majid who's on my improv team. He's this really great actor. He's rather successful. He's been on on a bunch of shit. He's all over commercials. He was in an episode of Supergirl, and he was having me do his acting reel, which I'd never done that before. So I was doing it for free because A, I'd never done it before, and B, he's a buddy. I didn't want to I wasn't like. So I wasn't confident, and I didn't want to charge him. And then, so I was in the middle of that, and then also doing all this Photoshop with Joe. So I was like checking back in and forth with it, and I was doing all this shit. And I'm like, God, I'm really busy right now. it's like weird. I got work.
Yerb.
Yeah, it was Yerb.
What? It's Yerb from Minnesota.
Yeah, I had a straight up Yerb.
You had a Yerb for a weekend.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, are you advertising your services? Are you saying like if you want an acting reel cut together, people should contact you?
I'm definitely now confident in having done. Like he was like, would you be okay with that? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I'll give it a crack. I mean, I certainly know I know how to edit it pretty well. I've never done it before, but that's part of the reason why I didn't want to charge him because I was like, I don't, But then like. I watched like a YouTube video where a guy would talk about freelance acting, reel editing, and then like started doing it. And I was like, oh yeah, no, this is easy fucking money. I should do this all the time.
So use your hard-earned money so Eric can make his easy fucking money.
Yeah, if any listener who's like a fucking actor wants a reel, I'll fucking do it. And
why does it have to be a fucking actor?
No, I mean they don't.
He only works in the adult industry.
I'm geared towards.
I don't know if you. I know we're not that close. I'm certainly not a close friend of yours. We don't know each other that well. But I tend to, especially on this podcast, use cuss words as punctuations to sentences.
And also, fuck you.
Yeah.
So
fuck you. I'm not doing the show anymore. I'm just gonna be on Mitomo this entire time.
Hey, what's Mitomo?
Mitomo's this it's this new app on phones now that Nintendo released. It's like Nintendo Mii's, and you can like create a Mii like yourself and dress them up, and then like you can visit your other friends' me's. And what's interesting about it is, like, your me will ask you questions like, oh, what did you do this weekend? What's your favorite kind of bread? And stuff like that. And you can, and you'll have all these like questions, and then your friends answer questions, and you can see your friends' answers to questions, and like you can learn a lot about your friends.
Can you tell me, is it a social network kind of thing? Because there's this thing on my phone that says like it's managed by my own. You can't see it. It's like this phone on my iPhone. When I open it up, it's like this iPhone is managed by your organization, just to kind of always remind you, like, hey, that's not your phone, you piece of shit. You lazy shit. You don't have an iPhone. You're poor. Go away. And so I'm like, but if it's for social media purposes, I could put it on.
I mean,
there.
Yeah, it's definitely very social because you add your friends and then like visit your friends and like you do pictures and stuff. But it's actually really interesting because like you can like. Because it's got text to voice stuff, so you're like when you type an answer, like it's like, what did you do this weekend? And I was like, watch a lot of YouTube videos and not work. And then me said, watch a lot of YouTube videos and not work. Yep. And I was like,
Ike, are you on this Mitomo thing?
I've seen it. I am not on it. No.
Okay. Yeah, I would know if you were, because I would have added you guys onto my friends list, but you didn't. So no. So you can't. So you're not my friends. You're not my friends on Mitomo.
Only real friends are on Mitomo.
Yeah.
It's not official unless they're on Mitomo.
Yeah,
What?
so we're not officially friends.
It's Mitomo official.
Yep.
Just like that. Ike, what did you do this last week?
Before we talk about us, I wanted to talk about 3 important people that I wanted to give a shout out to.
Okay.
It's Tony. Tony's been there's a gentleman out there named Tony. He's been donating $2 a month. I just want to recognize him since our monthly thing came around. And Brady, he's been donating $2 a month to the show, as well as an extra $1 he pitched our way this month as a one-time donation.
Yeah.
And David out there, give a shout out to him for donating $2 a month. So we appreciate the subscriptions that you guys are helping us out, keep this thing running and supporting us.
Yeah, I mean, think of that. All those $2 together pays for part of the Squarespace bill. So if you want to help out the show, you can. JustCoolEnough.com, and there's a donate button. Really, we appreciate it.
That. So you're telling me all those donations I can have? I could just start taking them?
Yeah, you shouldn't have to pay for it. We should be able to stand on our own 2 feet, Eric.
So if like let's say hypothetically 2 weeks ago I embezzled $50 so that I could have enough to buy a new CPU.
You didn't embezzle it. You were taking what was rightfully yours.
Okay.
No.
If that happened.
Hold on. Wait. Time out here. Yes, you embezzled. Yes, that was bad.
I said hypothetically.
Hypothetically, I'm just saying hypothetically. Yeah, that would be a bad thing because you should ask before the money goes out of the funds.
Well, I didn't do it, so that's fine.
Why would he have to ask, Joe, since he's been providing the Squarespace? Hypothetically. Why would he have to?
Why would I have?
Are you laundering money through some offshore account from Panama through our PayPal account?
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. My wife, the whole time, has actually worked in the banking industry. She's not a geologist. She's been working for the banks all these years. And yes, I'm not going to resign, though. I'm just kind of chilling. I'm just going to like step down for a little bit and then be like, what's up, Iceland? That's super cool. Yeah. Hey, I'm super excited they didn't call it Panama Gate, though.
Because they call everything else whatever gate.
I know. Every time there's a scandal, they're just like, oh, Donut Gate or Controller Gate. I'm like, just stop, please. Don't call any. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, overused.
By the way, if somebody wanted to donate to the show, what would be the easiest way for that to happen?
I mean, if I was going to donate to the show, I'd go to justcoolenough.com.
Or just send it directly to my PayPal, because I'll make sure it goes to... No, yeah, justcoolenough.com. It's got a little donate link there, so you can find it and help us out, help us do things occasionally.
Keep our rigs up to date so we can keep doing this wonderful show for y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
in my defense, you were the one last week. You were like, hey, you look better. Did you get a new webcam? I was like, no, I just have a working computer.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I'm not saying you shouldn't use the funds. I'm just saying people should donate more so you can actually...
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically. When was the last time I logged into this PayPal? Oh my God, Eric!
What I think we need to do is raise enough...
problem.
We need to raise enough money for the three of us to get Oculus Rifts, and that way we can feel like we're sitting in the room together doing the show.
I'm more of an HTC Vive kind of guy, because you got the controllers and stuff like that. It's more expensive, but it's a better experience.
I'm more of a BlizzCon tickets kind of guy.
And actually having the real experiences.
Yeah, I like kind of going places.
I thought about that because they announced BlizzCon tickets are going on sale later this month, and I thought I could actually probably go. I've got a car.
Yeah,
so
why couldn't you?
So we're gonna sleep on Eric's floor. Let's go,
I mean,
Joe.
We're gonna go to Anaheim.
You wouldn't want to stay here because it's a real long distance from where BlizzCon
No,
is.
it's not, because you got a car.
You could if you wanted to.
We can.
But
ask...
also, tickets are now $200. So
right.
Fuck that bullshit. I'll just stay home and watch the free stream.
They have to pay the artist to come up with new butt poses, so you got to jack up the price because they're working round the clock on that shit.
Whoa, round the clock.
As a guy who took a 3D modeling class, men will do butt poses for free. Like that's not they got so many butt poses that they do in their spare time. Like they just got a file that just a file of poses is for all of the characters, and it just says miscellaneous butt poses, and they just dig through it. We went through the Blizzard tour. We saw
there was a room that just said.
I know we signed an NDA. But they specifically showed us a room where a guy was just making various butt poses and said, these will probably never make it in the game.
No, that is not true. That is not true.
Listen, I don't care if I signed an NDA, Joe. I'm telling them about the butt poses room.
I am not affiliated with Eric or his
or his butt poses.
Or his butt poses.
They were equal opportunity. There was Widow had butt poses, but also Roadhog had butt poses. There were butt poses all around.
Torbjorn.
Yeah, Torbjorn butt poses, Reinhardt butt poses, Hanzo butt poses.
Okay, enough with the butt poses. Speaking of butt poses, so did you see that they kind of Blizzard did a fast one? I don't know if you guys are up on the story. It's kind of blowing up on the internet, right? Does
it have something to do with butt poses?
It does. It does. So there's a game. There's a game called, what is it called? Heroes of the Storm or something? Oh yeah, Overwatch. So there's this game called Overwatch where there's a character named Tracer who was in a position where her butt cheeks were showing. Not even showing, but just you can look at pants that she had on and it had a butt cheek. That's a good description? Does that
let's be fair though. Hanzo has the same thing, and so does Widowmaker.
Right. So for some reason people got mad, and then
just one woman.
I mean, it was a slightly sexualized pose. I understand.
There was a woman that went on the forums and said, I play Overwatch, and I've seen this pose, and I think it's overly sexualizing Tracer. It's not something that Tracer would do. And because Widowmaker has a similar pose, but Widowmaker is supposed to be the sensual, sexy type character, so it's okay for her, but it's not okay for Tracer. And these are the type of characters that my daughter, who's now 4, is going to grow up playing, and I don't approve of this because it gives a bad message about women.
So she didn't like the artistic direction Tracer was taking in that pose.
So Blizzard had a great response to that. They said they would address it, and they would change the butt pose.
And they did. I think they did a great job. But did we all just get played? Is that just a PR stunt?
I mean, I don't know. They do this kind of stuff all the time. I remember it was 5 years into World of Warcraft where they changed the troll used to have kill 2 dwarfs in the morning, which was basically a parody of smoke 2 joints from Sublime. But it was 5 years into the game when they removed that because it turns out it was a drug reference.
People just find the weirdest, most boring things to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's actually all I wanted to comment on the whole story. It's why? It's not bad. Get a life, people. There's so many better things to be offended about.
I mean, you shouldn't. I mean, but in other there's always there's terrible things that people are always offended about. There's Baldur's Gate. The Enhanced Edition just came out with an expansion, and there's one character in it that is transsexual and goes, hey, by the way, I'm transsexual, and people are just flipping the fuck out. They're like, worst game, they're ruining Baldur's Gate, it's the worst, oh, don't ever buy it. And they're like going on Metacritic, it's got like a negative 8,000 user rating because there's a kind of, because there's like a transgendered character, so
people are losing their senses when it comes to this kind of stuff, and just take a step back. And is it actually offending you, or are you just getting caught up in some emotion that you don't understand? Like, what's going on?
North Carolina?
Somebody, you know what? I heard a really kind of derogatory thing that offended me. I heard that somebody referred to what show it was? There's a show called like Best, or it's a show by Maddox. It's a podcast called Biggest Problem in the Universe, and he referred to states as M states. He's like, yeah, it's probably one of those M states, you know, Mississippi, Michigan, and I'm like, what? Wait, do not group Michigan with Mississippi, Maddox. I was like, dude, you just group those two together. Don't call it an M state.
I would argue that Massachusetts is the most progressive state in that sense, so I don't think it's fair to call it one of the M states.
Yeah.
Not like those Michiganites.
Not like, well,
Michiganians? What the hell are you?
Michiganders.
Oh, that's right.
We had a whole episode on this. Go back and look for it.
I don't actually listen to anything you say.
You talked about it.
Who are you?
What day is it? So, anyway, like I was saying, in conclusion...
Well, we've sufficiently talked about this enough so that we can make it our thumbnail.
There, done.
So they put out this new patch yesterday for anybody who is in the beta and hasn't been watching, that they put all the stuff that you bought if you pre-ordered the $60 version into the game, all the new skins that they said they're going to come out. And then they realized that the new skin for Soldier 76 allows him to clip through walls, so they immediately removed the entire character of Soldier 76 today, so he is not playable. He's not even on the list of characters you can look at in the gallery. He's just nowhere to be found.
The skin does that? That's great.
Yeah, let you clip through the walls. I thought it wasn't intended. I thought, it's not a bug. It's working as intended.
It kind of makes sense, right?
He can aimbot and go through walls.
That's how Counter-Strike, it's just no clip on Counter-Strike. It's great. Great stuff. If you want to start a podcast, you can on a service called Shout Engine. Go to shoutengine.com and start your own podcast for free in under 5 minutes on shoutengine.com. Go there. That's where we host our podcast and a ton of others, even some really good automotive ones, like the Hooniverse podcast. Go check it out.
I believe you were in the process, Joe, of asking me what I did over the last week, and then I cut you off.
Well, yeah, you cut me off when I was
with all the cool stuff that people have been giving us money for.
I know, that's great.
Mike, what have you been doing this week? Anyway, so the other day...
I just booked my trip to Australia for the summer and got Vegas squared away for the summer. So there'll probably be like a lot of points this summer where I won't be around to do the show.
You're doing Vegas and Australia.
A week in Vegas right after the school ends, and then there's like a week off where there's nothing to do, and then it's Australia for 4 weeks.
A week in Vegas. I'm gonna try to crash your party.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa! Weird seeing you here, Ike. Oh, Vegas, weird.
Yeah, it'll end up being like an even worse two-person, unless Eric can come too, version of The Hangover.
It's just a 4-hour drive.
I know.
That's like BlizzCon is just as close, right? Because it's pretty far away.
BlizzCon's only like an hour and a half in bad traffic.
Really? I mean, we could just drive an hour and a half and stay at your place, right?
Your mom would let us.
Yeah.
Your mom's super nice. She would totally let us. It'd be like a sleepover. Like, guys, remember? We'll all be sleeping in the same room with their like PJs on. We're like, oh man, I think that girl likes me really bad.
You mean your wife? Yeah.
Yeah. Really cool. So, Ike, what did you do this week? You booked trips all over the world. You're gonna go to Australia. How long are you gonna be in Australia for?
27 days.
Holy shit!
27 days, 24 days, somewhere in there.
Wow, I mean, if you're gonna travel for 14 hours or plus,
right?
You might as well stay for a long time.
But I do agree with Lewis Black, that if you're gonna travel 14 plus hours to some place, they should have the common decency to speak a different fuck language.
I don't know. I mean, it's pretty convenient when you go to a place and you could just speak English and English happens to come back to you, because speaking from experience, going to a small village and not knowing the language or knowing bits and pieces, is kind of the worst thing ever because nobody likes you, even if you just are a nice, a handsome man like someone I might know, like me. So, I'm just saying, your
Wow,
looks
you know
just,
you? I know you too. What a
your looks
coincidence.
can't get you through a small town village in Italy, and you can't just be like, "Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba." They're like, get out of here, you piece of shit. Look at
In
all
perfect English. I
Yeah.
understood that. It's like I speak Italian. Italian.
Or the more embarrassing part about like looking Italian and being over there is when an Italian person comes up to you and then starts speaking in Italian, and you're just like, mi dispiace, and they're just like, get out of here, you stupid idiot, you duped me,
My mom had,
decoy.
my mom had that issue where she kept like people would say like it's when we were in France, people would be like bonjour, and then like my mom would reply bonjour, but not like how I say it, like bonjour or whatever, like a fucking American.
Buongiorno.
She would say it, with a slight accent, and then they would just immediately start talking to her in full French, and and she would, and from my perspective, it looked like she knew what she was doing because she would reply, but apparently she would always go, I have no idea what I'm saying, I don't know what I'm saying, but they seemed to be having a conversation, but it kept getting me in trouble because I remember. We got on the plane. We were still in Los Angeles. We were getting on the plane to go to France, and I like the guy, like we were walking onto the plane. The guy was like, "Bonjour, madame," and she says "Bonjour," and like asks for her ticket in French. She shows it to him, and he points to her seat and tells her where it is in French. And then he says to me, "I assume follow her," but he says it all in French because she keeps doing this, and it just was really, it's just like I don't know what's going on.
This one time I was out with a bunch of colleagues and I'm in the hills of Germany. I go to get a table, like I was the first one at this restaurant, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we're full," and then I walk away, and then a German colleague comes up and just sweet talks the lady, and we all of a sudden we get a table in the back, and we did not have a reservation. It was a spur of the moment thing, and we went from having no table because some stupid American kid that looks like an Italian guy tried to ask a question in German, and then all of a sudden we went to like this private room next to the kitchen with all the great like beer and all these special drinks and stuff. So yeah, I like when people speak English because it makes my life so much easier. It's self-centered, I guess, but when you travel 14 hours and then you could just speak English, that sounds like a good thing. It sounds like a good thing. I don't know.
I mean, it was nice. It was nice that everybody in France spoke English, and pretty much better than I spoke English.
Yeah, that's the scary part. The education system.
Me feel English? That's impossible.
For real, the education system for English is all over the world. Pretty much everywhere that's developed is so good that they definitely write in English better than most Americans write in English. It's crazy. It's crazy. The punctuation, the words used, and everything. It's scary.
I remember being over in Austria and at this really kind of hip music store, and this really cute girl was behind the counter, and I went and bought some music because I was like, oh, I want to get something kind of German just to commemorate being over here. And then I remember like starting a conversation with the very limited German that I knew, like, hello, how are you? And then putting the thing down, and immediately, apparently, it was good enough in kind of a like German accent that she just started having this full-blown conversation for like 2 minutes, and then after a 2-minute rant, which I wish I could understand, I was like, I don't speak German. Do you speak English? And then she's like, oh, and then she said like 2 words in English, and then gave me my CDs, and I left. I was like, damn it, cute girl, and I can't even understand it. I look like a fool.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much everyone spoke English to us, which was great. But the only person who struggled with English was the first person I tried to talk to once I got off the plane in France after going through customs, which was the very, very tiny, like skinny little like nerdy dude who was for Super Shuttle that was supposed to take us to our shuttle. Like I had my paperwork luckily, but like and he had a little sign that said Super Shuttle, but I was like, hi, Super Shuttle for Eric Reichert, and he like had no idea what I was saying, so I handed him the paper, and he was like looking through his thing, and I guess he couldn't find us or something, and then he was like telling us.
Did you get the sweats at all? Were you like, oh god, this might not work?
I was worried because it's like, because when you book it, because I've never really booked a trip myself, like a full-fledged trip, and I booked it all through Expedia, and I was like, I don't know if any of this will actually work. Like, am I gonna get to the hotel and they're gonna be like, "What the fuck you booked on the internet? Fuck you, get out of here!" Or like I'm out $2,000 and stuck in France. But like he like struggled with English. I couldn't quite understand what he was saying. He was telling us to follow him for a bit, and like we walked to this waiting area. He told us to wait here, and I was like, "Fuck, are we just?" Fuck, now what? And then like after like 5 minutes, like our van driver showed up. He's like, "Yeah, this way," and like, but it's like that was the only time where I had to deal with someone who didn't speak like perfectly adequate English.
So like the first experience that you had with somebody not able to speak it, and your mom's like standing by, like, "Eric, did this thing, like, is this trip gonna be okay, or are we about to be fucked in France here?"
Yeah.
That was like a new podcast, Fucked in France.
That's definitely not a podcast idea. That sounds like some sort of video that you would watch on YouPorn or something. It probably is a video, actually. I'm sure of it. I'm not even like, I don't have to search. I'm sure.
You don't want to.
I don't know. I have no pre-existing knowledge of said video, but I guarantee you it exists.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, maybe I'll search it some other time, but I'm sure it exists for sure.
By some other time, do you mean this very moment? Just
this magic moment.
Someday I'll look at this, he says as he Googles.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to a longtime listener who has a birthday today.
Okay.
Shout out to you. Happy birthday. You know who you are, Sipty. Happy birthday. You know what you did to us. He always comments on all of my Facebook posts, and he just likes everything. So I don't want to say his full name, but he also goes as Sipty. So have a happy birthday. You're a longtime listener, and we appreciate you.
Happy birthday, you
Sipty bastard.
Slimy little shit.
Why are we being mean to him? I came from a place of like love.
Happy birthday, because this is your last one.
Keep the change, you filthy animal. Oh man, so this week for me, since nobody asked me how my week's been going,
don't care.
Has been. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for supporting me. So this week has been. I've had a historically bad week that I don't want to talk about the bad things on it, but I also had a historically great week too because for the first time I went kart racing. Like there's go karts and then there's shifter karts and karts that actually go like 40 miles an hour that you zip around in an indoor racetrack. Have you guys done this at all?
I know of it, and there's one somewhere around Los Angeles, but I've never done it. I've done like the outdoor ones at like golf carts and shit.
Yeah, so there's the slow ones that are boring, and there's ones like this where you actually have to hit the brakes and hit apexes and carry momentum through turns, and it's pretty competitive too. And I was just blown away by how much fun it was, and everybody was blown away about how fast I was on the track because they're like, he's like I got 100 pounds, and everybody that's here, there's no way he's gonna. Holy shit, he's in first place and he's leaving people behind. And there's very few sports that I'm good at, so motorsports and being good at this is just the most magnificent thing because I was never able to run faster than anybody or kick a ball far or throw it or catch it the best. But just being really, really good, better than everybody else around me at a physical thing that takes muscle, concentration, and aim and stuff, I was like, oh, this is how people feel when they're good at sports. Holy shit, this is awesome! Like I would let people pass me on the pace lap just so I could work my way through traffic and like contend for first, second, or third place because it was like that. It was so much fun. Even these carts. The place I went to was called Cart to Cart. It's over in Sterling Heights, and there's another. You guys don't care about this, but I totally recommend go find a kart place that's next to you, spelled K-A-R-T, and just do 2 rounds. Pay whatever it costs to race it. Do 2 rounds. It's so much better than I don't know, wasting $40 on food and drinks at a bar. It was just such an adrenaline rush, and I won at it, so that's cool. You'll like it too if you win. So, yeah, that best week ever. That was just so much fun. and they offer deals and stuff. I kind of want to. Anyway, so after that happened, I was like, okay, well, I'm starting a group, and every Monday, this is why I might have some scheduling conflicts with the show, because at least one Monday a month they run a special at this kart place, and I want to go there with all my friends on the cheapest day possible so we can get the most amount of races in. So we got to work around that. I might join a kart racing league because I had that much fun. And everybody there was like, "Yeah, you're fast." I'm like, they're just saying that, and then you like look at the times. I'm like, "Holy shit, I'm pretty good at this. I need to lose some weight just so I can be faster in this race car thing."
You're gonna be like a jockey soon. You're gonna just be like constantly doing check-ins and weigh-ins and like vomiting and like making sure you like make weight and just
dehydrate myself before the race is really bad, so I just have the maximum amount of power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
But you guys should totally do it. It's not like the mini golf stuff. It's serious. You got to break and
yeah. There's a place that I always see like all over there's a place in the Los Angeles area that is an indoor track that apparently is pretty good, and I see shit all the time about it. It just I never go. I just don't.
I love cars and racing and stuff, and first time I went, 29 years old, it wasn't high on my list, and now it's very high on my list. In fact, it's so high on my list that I'm like, hey babe, I'm talking to my wife, hey babe, you want to go out on some dates? We could maybe this Friday night you could go out on a date. It'll just be you and me and some racetracks, and we'll go to it'll be like a racing themed date. We'll go to this car place and do
just be you, me, Scotty will be there.
Scotty's gonna be there. It's actually dude's night out.
Yeah, Fish will be there.
Yeah, everybody's
there's a deal if we get a 6, so we needed to invite you.
We've done that before, but she's known full well what's going on. So we're sitting around. Well, we only got 5. It's like, what about Sarah? I'm like, oh, okay, fine. We can invite her. She's super cool.
I mean, she is.
I know.
I don't know why you would invite. Like, if I were like going to places like that, I would be like, let's invite Sarah. I guess Joe can come.
I feel the same way. I'm like, why do you want to hang out with me? She's the cool one.
Yeah.
He's just loud and annoying and full of himself. I hate that guy. You guys, I mean, the feeling that I had at being good at something that other people were not as good though, that was nice. That was really nice. Especially because it was kind of physical.
Yeah, being better than people is great.
Things that are physical. Finally, something you're physically good at.
No, serious. I mean,
I'm not being facetious. Being better at stuff than other people is great. It makes you feel fantastic.
Having a natural I uncovered a new natural talent that I never knew. It would be like somebody who didn't sing at all for 30 years, and then all of a sudden they open their mouth. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna try this whole singing thing, and it's just like Ave Maria, just note for note, perfect, and then it's just.
I could do that. I don't on here because I want to, take.
Yeah, he doesn't want. Yeah, he doesn't want to show off, and he's a very humble guy, Ike. So.
I'm not saying I'm the greatest ever, but I have some natural ability. I discovered it, so I was super excited.
I don't know if I would say how much do you think is really natural though? Because I know that you're really into, cars and knowing a lot about racing and stuff. So how much of it do you think is natural ability, and how much do you think of is learned, applied knowledge?
Well, I know a lot of auto journalists.
How much do you think Top Gear was an influence?
Very little. Yeah, we're gonna strap these two go-karts together and then try to make them fly across this field like Kitty Hawk.
You telling me James May isn't making you run faster?
I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I've studied it for a long time, but I've never really. This is the first time I was actually able to.
Yeah, I mean, you watch
apply.
Racing, you actively watch it as a sport, as a spectator sport. It's not like
does that make you better?
It's not like you showed up. It's like what's this, baseball? Well, I guess I'll give it a try. Oh wow! Turns out I'm amazing at baseball.
Okay,
I didn't even realize it was a sport.
But I'm just saying, you can't just go. Okay, you can't just watch baseball and be like, oh yeah, you He's got a batting average of 6.019 or
Yeah, but
something.
if you understand the
then, like, all of a
principles
sudden you're
of the
fucking
game
good at it.
before you enter into the game, you definitely will do better. Like just understanding how the game works. Like handing a guy a bat and say play baseball, and he has no idea what he's doing, and like pitches a perfect game having never known what pitching is impossible. But if he's seen a couple of games, yeah, he might pitch a little better.
But yeah, but that's essentially how it is. I've never
Also,
actually studied.
baseball's boring and stupid, so it's hard to.
Yeah,
I should have picked a different sport.
What basketball happened? Football.
Football, because it's more strategic. Like
Okay,
there's
yeah.
more.
But I mean, basketball's pretty strategic too.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I've watched soccer. Okay, here's a case in point. I've played and watched soccer for years, and I still suck at it really, really bad. I can't juggle
Soccer's
shit.
an endurance sport. It's
No, but I mean, even like footwork and things like that. I know what I want to do. It doesn't mean I can do it.
I mean,
Just different type of physical.
Just say touche.
Racing's not as physical. Like I would never be one of these guys that say like NASCAR isn't a sport or anything like that. It is, but it's not. I mean, it's
a
not,
different. Yeah.
It's a different kind of thing. It's not as physical as other sports.
I think that's true, and I think actually you have to have a unwavering concentration on the track to actually do really good and find the line and do the right thing.
Yeah, you got to be thinking a lot, and there's also.
But you have to do that in every sport. You have to have somebody who's an expert at like two different things to say like, like, do you know anybody who has been a pro race car driver and also a pro football player? Because then that's what we need.
Michael Jordan probably. I don't know. He was baseball and basketball.
But
he played on the
also
Monster. Wait, no, that was the wrong team.
I would argue that to a degree, you could, and I'm willing to take the heat for this for all the shit that people might give me. But you play a football game on a PlayStation. There's no skills gleaned from playing a football game aside from maybe a little bit of strategy that you're going to be applying to actually playing football. But you play a racing game, again, aside from actually shifting, you are getting more. You're learning what to look for. You know how to stay on the inside.
Yeah, you learn the principles of because a lot of racing is knowing about lines and when to shift and when to like fast in, fast out. Like finding your line, drafting, just concepts that everyday drivers don't know.
By the way, Everyday Driver, great podcast if you like cars. Go check them out. They're on Shout Engine, and they're like in the top 10 of iTunes all the time. No, you know what? In fact, that's something I didn't consider till just now, so I'm actually glad you brought it up. I've been practicing this shit for years!
Yeah. How many Gran Turismos have you played?
All of them.
But as a person who watches and has experienced it, like, do you think that playing those video games has given you a leg up over somebody who has not had that experience?
No question about it, yeah, for sure. In fact, I can think of, I was actually comparing this in my head. I'm like, so what game is the most accurate for this? And I think for
Crash Team Racing.
Crash Team Racing was exactly what I was thinking. I was going through my head. I was racking my brain. I'm like, what feels the most real? And I was like, oh, Forza? No. And the Gran Turismo? No. And the Crash Team Racing. It was really close because
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Yeah, I throw banana peels out my car window all the time because I learned that shit on Mario Kart. Makes the car behind you spin around, slow down.
I would honestly say, though, as far as games that do a good one-to-one, for kart racing, Project Cars, it's very similar. And I used the things I learned in that game to actually win. And I'm glad you brought that up because I guess I have been practicing.
But I feel like it's kind of walking a thin line because the argument could be like just because you play Rock Band doesn't mean you can play guitar.
Well, but that's totally different.
If you play Rock Band,
but if you play Rocksmith or whatever,
on Pro.
And you play the drums, that is definitely teaching you how to play
or pianos on Pro.
Yeah, I mean the guitar part's not as much because there's less translation to actually playing a real guitar, but the other stuff like some of the other instruments, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guess that this is a really good point that you're making because like you're saying in football, okay, holding the L2 stick and like do it in a truck stick and pressing X at a certain,
motherfucker.
yeah, like doing that stuff. There's no real translation to that. But I do see your point here where you're saying that racing has a very more of a translation into a video game than a football game would have. So I do think that watching something doesn't give you that much of a leg up on something, but actually kind of experiencing it, like the Rock Band example when you're playing the drums or a racing game. Yeah, all right, I'm on board with that. I don't think that's crazy. It's weird to think about that though, because I'm like, I'm just really good at this thing. But no, shit, I've been practicing for a long time, and that's why I'm able to pick out the track and stay cool and be patient about when to pass somebody. And
I've learned really well how to control short people after playing Mario. Super easy. Just tell them to jump.
Are there any other games that will like translate like that? Because for real, the games had to play a part in me being at least faster than my buddies.
I know I'm going to take a somewhat of a step back for the video game community in some respects with this comment, but I do feel playing first-person shooters is giving me a leg up on doing something like laser tag.
Oh yeah, why
like
wouldn't
being spatially aware, but people learn how to shoot each other in games and they cause violence like that. I don't agree with.
Yeah, but firing a weapon in a video game is not like firing a weapon in real life, but it does teach you like tactical movement and stuff like that, like being aware of like turning of clearing a room and corners and all that shit.
Yeah, and also it also kind of gears you up, and not exactly, but it gears you up for the situation too. So if you kind of lose yourself in a video game experience, you're simulating a real life experience where okay, you're breaching a room and you're throwing a flashbang in a paintball sense. Like you can kind of get a real life adrenaline rush if you're simulating that through a video game.
Yeah, and much like in video games, in real life, when you're playing laser tag, the 12-year-old kids are gonna destroy you, no matter what you do. Yeah, but you can't beat them.
But in laser tag, your shit shuts off when they shoot you, and then you just follow them back. That's what I did with the 6-year-old who shot me. He was like, "Mr. Dodge is here." He shot me. I followed his back and shot him and all of his friends.
Yes, I know you're very excited about that because that's the third time you've mentioned it on the show. Oh my gosh! But I mean, if I shot Mr. Dodge, I'd be that excited too. Right. Like follows me back and shoots me,
and all your friends,
and all my friends. Oh my god!
I got him. Now I got all of you.
I don't know. Actually, kind of talking about games and things we've learned from games. Age of Empires taught me a shitload about history.
Yeah, like playing Assassin's Creed is like Assassin's Creed 3 is pretty accurate to history, not exactly, but also Assassin's Creed 4 because those are both eras of history I'm really interested in. Obviously, Revolutionary War and also that pirate era I really like. So there's differences. Obviously, they take a lot of historical liberties, but it's interesting to see like how much they keep of actual history.
Wait, are you telling me that the Vincenzo guy didn't actually know Leonardo da Vinci? I don't remember his name.
I don't know, but there was like the Borgias and stuff in Assassin's Creed 2. That's
for real. I'm walking around Italy and I'm like, oh shit, that's from Assassin's Creed. I'm like, wait, this is from real life, and that was.
Yeah, it's like being at Disney World.
I think there's an Assassin's Creed in Paris. I never played it, but I kind of wish I kind of want to go and do it now because it's like I've been to Paris, so I would know some of these lands. I've played. I forget. Yeah, there was like Unity was in Paris. I haven't played it.
So funny.
I kind of want to see how accurate it is to actual Paris.
Because playing Grand Theft Auto 5 prepared me for California somewhat. I'm like, oh yeah, there's the observatory. I know where that is. And I'm thinking that in my head the whole time, and then I heard some guy walking by this is just like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Shit, I was just thinking
I remember
I
you
look
talking
at him.
about that. You're walking by and you were like walking down the beach and like some woman is like, man, fuck that guy! I'm gonna stab him in
I
his
was like,
dick
oh,
if I ever see him again. And that's like a straight up line from
that
the game.
happened. That totally happened. I'm like, what? You're playing
Some
Grand Theft
dude
Auto?
ran out of the side store, ran up to a car, dragged some guy out, and got in and drove away.
If that happened, I'd be like, it is just they did such a good job in San Andreas.
Yeah.
But yeah, like especially when I was at the observatory. What is that place called? What
The
observatory?
Griffith Observatory.
Griffith Observatory. I was over there, and
That's
I
that place
could
where the Terminator started.
right.
Yes.
There's a lot of movies over there. But yeah, it's funny how games will prepare you for real life, whether you like it or not, kind of a thing. But one of my reasons I really like history so much, I think it has to be said that in my formative years, I played a lot of Age of Empires, and going back and playing through the campaigns, okay, the campaigns aren't exactly what happened, but it kind of gives you a jumping off point. And now I'm addicted to things like like Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast is amazing. Definitely listen to that. But I mean, History Channel stuff and things that are finding out, things like historians are finding out that are new and kind of changing history. I'm up on this stuff because I think it's awesome, and it's because of Age of Empires. But I don't know. Can you think of a game that during your formative years kind of carries over to now? A lot of Overwatch, like.
I'm gonna go with World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah, for sure. That game plays a huge part in my life.
But like you were looking at like skills, but in this case, the skills aren't the ones that I learned from walking around skinning and fishing, so much as the skills I learned from being social.
Right, right. Well, I mean, think of the network that we have because of World of Warcraft and WoW Radio and stuff.
And those are definitely skills that I've gotten better at because of World of Warcraft, like being social, talking with other people. I've gotten better at, and I suppose you could argue just because it was an MMO, provided the skills that you could translate into real life to do that. And I was talking to my fiance the other day. She's like, I really like Sword Art Online because I like the fact that you have this game where all these people come together and like make relationships. And I'm like, that's World of Warcraft. But she doesn't like World of Warcraft. She's like, yeah, no, actually, I think what it is, I like watching other people make relationships in video games. I don't actually want to make relationships in video games. So I'm like, oh.
Sounds difficult.
That's one thing. That's one thing that I like about I would rather play something than watch something, and it makes it so difficult for me to actually sit down and enjoy. Like, I know the show Vikings is a great show, right? Like, you guys watch that at all?
Yeah, I watch it.
Good show, solid show. And I'm like, okay, I can watch Vikings or I can play Vikings, kind of a thing. Like, I would rather just play the part rather than watch it and be passive. Because as soon as I watch something, my brain shuts off, and I'm just.
So what I hear you saying, Joe, is you don't want to play D&D, you want to LARP.
I want to be D&D. You have to feel it from your insides.
Well, that brings up on a slight tangent, but I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. What games like Amanda really likes to play? Zelda and games along that line, whether it's the RPG element. But she's playing by herself, and she'll spend hours playing. And I remember back in the day playing Mario, but I usually had or Sonic, but I had my best friend next to me, so there was always that social component, regardless of whether or not I was playing. So
Right.
watching somebody play a game to me is incredibly boring, and to think about playing a game where I can't have interactions with someone else kind of is boring now. I don't know if I've just gotten so used to having the social interactions from things like Overwatch and TF2 and all these other games where you can play with other people, that now when it's a game that you don't really get to play with other people, I'm not saying it's not interesting. I really enjoyed BioShock, but I prefer to play with other people. Is that something that you guys find to be the same, or it doesn't
with
really
BioShock, with BioShock Infinite, I can't watch other people play it because it makes me sick. But I actually really enjoyed. I watched somebody play through Final Fantasy VII, and I really enjoyed that. And I watched my friend Dave, play through Shenmue for the Dreamcast, and I thought that was great. And
But would you rather play a multiplayer game or a single player game assuming that the game itself was equally entertaining in terms of storyline or whatever.
Always. I'm a social gamer. I love playing with people, and oftentimes, unless I'm playing an automation game, which is a game where I'm designing a car, unless I'm playing that, it's not a social experience. Or I prefer the social experience.
Now, coming from a guy who's a bit of an introvert, what about you, Eric?
I would say I see both sides of it. I like playing games with friends. I like the interaction of friends, the playing with friends, enjoying friends, and hanging out sort of social element. But I like also single player. I like being immersed in a story, in a world, and like having something just like being just alone and in a world. I like both sides of it. That's why when you were saying you think Vikings is okay, but you'd rather play as it. Whereas I will watch the show and enjoy the show and love the characters and watch the characters and watch the story unfold. And then like I want to have my own stories, obviously, and play something where I can do that stuff too. But then I also want to go back and watch that and be entertained by that.
You could play Banner Saga. It's kind of great.
Banner Saga. But.
You sounded really convincing. Yeah,
it's kind of a great game. You should totally check it out. I feel like it's old news, so why would I bring it up? Kind of thing. I don't know, Ike. What do you think? How do you game?
I was saying I prefer social.
Yeah. The thing is, I prefer social anything though, because I'll watch a series if other people are watching it, because then there's something to do afterwards, and there's something to talk about. Oh, this happened in House of Cards, this happened in Vikings, this was awesome in Mad Men. And
I think that's what's so compelling about shows like The Talking Dead, which comes after The Walking Dead, because they've gathered the community together and they just sit there and talk about it, and like everyone's on the same page, kind of like being around the figurative water cooler the next day. And that's a really nice component to the show that you're not going to get with most other shows, where they, no matter how compelling they are. But I also find watching people play games incredibly boring. I tune out because I don't have enough sensory information going on. And I think TVs nowadays are a great illustration for that, because I'll be watching, something on TV, Impractical Jokers, and I'll have my phone out playing Hearthstone. Like, if I'm not playing Hearthstone, I tend to get tired and fall asleep. So I need extra something.
I think it depends on the content you're watching, though. Like, Impractical Jokers is that's kind of a throwaway show where you watch in the background, where you wouldn't do that with the hardcore drama, because you want to pick up on the emotions that the people are putting off, and the lighting, and why these things are going.
I would agree.
Way and that way.
We were talking about Daredevil earlier. Don't really pull my phone out in Daredevil because I'm just so focused on
it's an active watching experience.
I will say, I noticed, I watch Face Off a lot, and I enjoy the show Face Off. It's the show where they special effects makeups and stuff like that, so they make all these really awesome creatures and monsters and stuff every week. But I've watched so many seasons that I understand the sort of formula of an episode, of any given episode. There's a very, very standard formula that they set, and it never deviates. So so a lot of it, unless something crazy is happening or something, I kind of half pay attention, half check Twitter and Facebook until they get to the reveal where they show all the awesome stuff, and then that's when things get a little bit more dynamic and stuff like that. But I will find myself fast forwarding after they reveal and stuff and talk about, they're like okay, it's time to pick the winner, and I start fast forwarding immediately because I know what's going to happen. They're going to pass to Glenn Hedrick, and he's goes the winner of this challenge is, and then it's going to have music for 5 seconds, and then it'll cut to black, and then it'll be commercial. So I'll just start fast forwarding now.
I feel like that's how I can edit an episode of Undercover Boss with the music and everything, because it's the same formulaic equation every time. It's okay, here's the boss, there's the family he's with, there's the company, a couple shots of him in the company doing the thing. All right, here's the transition. Okay, he goes to the place, the lady tells the sob story over. Okay, he goes to the other place sucks, he sucks at his job, he could never do this, that's hilarious, he can't do the job that he owns the company for. Okay, here's the next stage is boss does a thing and has a heartfelt moment with this guy. All right, let's cut to commercial, then we go to the next thing, Undercover Boss, the big reveal, and then boom, you get $1,000, you get $10,000, you get your medical expenses paid, end of show. every time.
Oh, but they threw a wrench in recently. One of the new ones, they cut to time to give out all the free stuff, and the boss just fired everyone.
Wait a second, that happened? What episode?
He went in like, this is like, he was witnessed how terrible they were, and they came in. He's like, yeah, you're done. And like he just started firing people left and right. And then I saw one of an older one the other day where the boss comes like, yeah, you know, we're I forget what they were making, computer parts. He was like, yeah, they're closing all the stuff, and all the employees at this one factory, like, we're afraid that we're going to lose jobs because they keep cutting back and keep cutting back. So he comes, he's like, you know, we've seen how you're working, and we know there's been layoffs, and we don't want you to be afraid. I'm going to give you, you know, $20,000 in total for all this shit. You know, your parents are in hospital, whatever. But then it cuts to the boss closed the plant a week later and never gave anybody anything they were promised. And so the show said at the very end, they are still trying to fulfill the promises they made during the show, but nobody has received anything.
Wow. See, like, but most of the time, those are the fringe cases.
Well, they have to mix it up a little here and there, because like, I've seen this before. Like, you're fired. No, I haven't seen that one before.
I want to see that episode where everybody gets fired, because I was talking about it, like, I just want to see an episode where everybody sucks, and the boss is just like, nope, my company runs fine. I've just met 3 shitty people. Goodbye. Like, I want to see that episode. Like, I don't care about your dumb problems. That's really bad that your cat got ran over by an airplane. You gotta go. just take your...
Oh, that's right. It was like it was for like a bikini, like a restaurant or something, and the boss was like, I will... one of the girls wasn't wearing a bikini because she was going to be on television, didn't feel comfortable, so he fired her for not being in uniform, and he offered as a gift to another one breast implants.
I got so many problems.
Of the year.
I'm gonna go ahead and link that in the group chat right there.
Oh my god.
Here's there you go. You can go check it out for the very end later on.
Okay, thank you for
Yep.
we gotta start wrapping it up, Eric.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much for paying attention to all this bullshit. I mean, Lord knows I barely did. But you can always follow us on our various social medias. Or you can find me on Mitomo. I'm Dumbcore on Mitomo. I don't know how you do that, but if you want to, you can try and find me somehow. I don't know how that works.
I feel like you really thought this plug and like social media thing out really.
I was like, I'll think of something interesting to plug, and then I was like, oh fuck, I don't know how to find people. It's not like a URL, and they make it really hard. It's Nintendo. You have to know a person on Facebook.
You have to know their friend code and then put it in.
Yeah.
Just like old times. Well, so are you gonna plug anything other than that?
I mean, you can always follow me on Twitter.
You did a video with the things where you were in a video.
Oh shit! Yeah, I totally forgot about.
Damn it, Eric.
I shot a sketch a while ago that we finally threw up on the internet. It's called. Let me find the exact title so I get this right. But yeah, it's a sketch called Scrolling through YouTube. Don't see it on YouTube.
That's the sketch name. Do you want me to go and then
it's called back? The sketch is called What the Old Man Really Does with Your Frisbee. It's from my sketch team Takeout. We'll put the link in the show notes. It's also did I ever put it on our Facebook? No, I don't think I did.
No, you didn't. You didn't promote it at all.
I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to post it right now on Facebook. So if you're right now, it's on there. It's right now.
Right now. Okay, so go check out our Facebook too, facebook.com/justcoolenough. Join the group. Throw us a like. We like that you like us. You like us. You really like us.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Twitter, Joe Q Carr. That's JOEQ Carr. And my plug for this week is Spirit of the Law. AOE2. We were talking about how I don't like watching people play games. Well, I love watching this guy play games because he plays Age of Empires 2, and he does all these great mathematic equations to prove what unit is best when, and it turns you into a machine. You should totally watch it, but not like one of those sad machines, like one of those machines that are really good that has emotion. He turns you into a human. watch Spirit of the Law. Even if you don't play Age of Empires, you should watch like one of his shorter videos because he's very entertaining. So go check it out, Spirit of the Law on YouTube. Ike, what's your plugs?
Well, I don't really have any plugs. You can find me on Instagram at Ike_Dodge. You can follow me on Twitter at Relevis. I have been tweeting a few more times than I usually have. I think I've tweeted more in the past week than I have in the past 2 years, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Eric, you shared. Just Cool Enough shared something. I'm gonna throw it a like.
Oh, and check out Exploding Kittens. Awesome group. I have the games. They're amazing, and they've gone out of their way to help my gaming club at school with getting some extra free copies of Exploding Kittens. So go check them out. If you are a college person and you have a gaming club at your college and you might be a part of said gaming club, you can contact them. And if you can provide them with proof that you have a gaming club, they will send you some complimentary cards, it looks like.
Go check out Just Fit Enough. Episode 3 is up. It's called Pop Quiz. It's in the feed right now. I did some feed maintenance, and everybody got extra episodes of things that they weren't supposed to get. But now I fixed it. Everything's cool. Sorry about that. And Just Cool Enough is brought to you by Alpha Geek Radio. We stream live on Alpha Geek Radio every week on Wednesday at 6:30 Eastern Time. That's 3:30 Pacific. Go check us out live. Good in our live chat room for next time. Put it on your calendar right now. Go to justcoolenough.com/live at 3:30 Pacific or 6:30 Eastern. We need some more people in the live chat room. We've only had a few this time, and nothing was said that was good enough for me to read on air. So step up your game, live chat people.
Wow.
I gotta call them like I see them. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I was really, really trying to stop the broadcast before you got that in. Yeah, he's been duped. We went off script.